Hey everybody, welcome back to Farming Cars. If you've been watching the videos, you know that a couple weeks ago I went to the Midwest Sci-Ti Sonoma GT meet. And you know that I happen to own a Sonoma GT and a Typhoon, so we'll get to those later. But anyway, while I was there, I had been thinking about going to the Carlisle Truck Nationals in Carlisle, Pennsylvania in August, because they have a big Sci-Ti presence there, and I've always thought those are pretty cool vehicles. But one of the other guys in the group, he caught wind that I was going to go, and he was thinking about going himself. So we came up with a plan together. He happens to have a 92 GMC Typhoon, so you know that one's 30 years old this year. It's the 30th anniversary. It's kind of a big deal. So we decided we'll probably we could go ahead and tow his 92 Typhoon out there for the show. So here we are. I'm going to go through the trailer and make sure that it's okay to go. It's about 800 miles one way. So, yeah, I figure it'd probably be best to at least attempt to make sure that the trailer is in good working order. But anyway, here's the trailer. So, I don't know a whole lot about it. I bought this 4 or 5 years ago from a coworker of mine. The title says it's a 2004 Barlow. I've never heard of that manufacturer before. But anyway, it's in pretty good shape. It's not real rusty. The planks are in good shape. I got one up there that doesn't know what it's doing. It's kind of curving up and warping, whatever. We'll have to do something with that, but it's not gonna fall through or anything weird. I put 2 new tires on this thing on the other side last year, and these ones are old, like super old, but they looked okay. But it's a really long trip, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace them anyway. I mean, they're not in too bad a shape. They still got good tread on them. They don't seem to be cracking up too bad or anything, but you can see the date code right there. Yeah, they're like 12 years old, so that's not gonna fly. But anyway, I'll go ahead and we'll get those off. We'll probably touch up those wheels a little bit, and then I got 2 new tires that I'm gonna have mount and balance down there that we'll get going. And then while they're off, we'll take a look at the suspension and the bearings and everything else like that. So here, this is the other side. I did these about a year ago, and you can see there's a little bit of rust starting to stick out of them a little bit, but they look way better than what we started with. So but yeah, this is what we'll look like when we're all done. Hopefully something similar to that, but a little bit nicer. So this left side fender comes off with 2 bolts, so I'm just going to take it off. It'll give me a little bit more room to see what I'm doing. And you can see how this works, I guess, if you've never had one that does that. But yeah, real simple. I'm going to go ahead and hit these with the wire brush real quick, and then we'll slap a coat of paint on them with the old tires on it quick. We'll dismount it. It might scratch the very edge a little bit, but it'll definitely look better than it does now. There, so we'll wipe them down real quick, and then we'll get some paint on them. So I went ahead and wiped them down real quick with a rag and some brake clean to get the dust off of them. And I found a old can of primer in my stash, so I'm going to throw a coat of primer on them before we throw. I've got like some graphite gray I'll put on there. Hopefully the primer will help keep the rust from coming back. Otherwise, it'll probably last maybe a year or so before it starts, before you can start to see it again. But it'll still look way better than it did before. So you can see I just hosed them down real good, nice. I mean, probably too thick of a coat realistically, but these tires are going to come off. I'll replace the valve stems, so it doesn't matter if I got a little on those, they'll be good to go. All right, now that we gave those a little bit of time to dry, we'll hit them with some color. But here we go. Got them all cleaned up. Those should look pretty good with new tires on them. So I was able to get this pesky board tucked back in underneath the lip there, and then you can kind of see it here. But I just took a piece of scrap 2x6 underneath and Zeused it up into the board next to it on either side, so hopefully it can't slide back now and it'll stay put. It's a little warped, so there's kind of a big gap right there. I mean, it's twisted all sorts of ways, but we'll see if that'll keep it happy for the short term. Otherwise, I guess I'll have to get a new plank. But that's what I did for now. All right, so here's the brand new tires mounted and balanced on those wheels that we sprayed up real quick just to, you know, make them look a little nicer. I went ahead, I popped the cap off. I mean, these are nice and tight. They're not loose at all, and you can still see, I don't know if it's kind of hard to see, but if you look in there, you can still see there's plenty of grease in there, and the grease isn't even discolored or anything. So I think I'm gonna leave them alone. We're just gonna run them as is. They should be good to go. So I'll go ahead and get the tires put back on here and the fender bolted on. I still gotta check the other side. I wanna make sure the bearings are okay over there, just in case. And we'll check the suspension on the other side too. This side seems good. I mean, over time, they'll wear out in these pivot points. And then, you know, if you leave them go too far, stuff will break and you'll have a really bad day. But so far, this old trailer is looking really good. And there she is, all back together, good as new. I would say it looks quite a bit better than it did. But yeah, she's pretty much ready to get put in the shed until we need her again, or I think, what are we, 2.5 weeks away from going to Carlisle. Also, don't forget to check your spare. This one is like 5 years old by the date code, so in there it doesn't look like it's ever been used, so we're gonna run it. It should be fine. I know it holds air good because I've checked it a few times. I don't know if my trailer's probably an oddball, but for whatever reason, the bolt nut or whatever that the guy used when they originally mounted the spare is not the same size as the lug nuts. So pay attention to that too, and make sure you have wrenches to get your spare off so you can use it if you need it. But that's my tech tip for the day, I guess. So I know this was a pretty quick little video, and I don't know, hopefully you enjoyed it. But yeah, a little prep for Carlisle. Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll get some footage while we're out there and hopefully get a video together, and you'll get to see some cool stuff from the Carlisle Truck Nationals car show. I guess truck show rather. So thanks for watching the videos. Be sure to comment if you have any questions, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.